live from Savile Row.
Hello everybody, today's video is an unboxing of the Cobbler Union shoes that I purchased back in June of 2022. Okay, so let's go.
Hello everybody, it's Robert Powers.
4.5 out of 5.
My shoe collection.
These are made of shell cord.
Here they are finished up.
I'm not a professional. Look how tight this is though.
Very clearly here, I just cut the thread in half.
And here they are, all finished up.
Hello, Bob.
Hello.
What is that you have in your hand?
I am super excited. You guys may or may not have seen the video. If you haven't, you may want to go watch it first. I will put a link in the video here and in the description. June of 2022, I had a business trip to Atlanta, Georgia, and I arranged a trip to their store, their actual storefront, which at that time they had one in Atlanta, Georgia, and then one in Spain.
So just to clarify, this is a brick and mortar
Correct,
store.
correct.
Right.
My Brannock size, and I'll link this video as well, complete guide to shoe sizing, but my Brannock size is about 11.5 E to double E with a ball length, the heel to ball, meaning where the flex point of my foot is more like a 12.5.
Right.
So in other words, I have short toes.
Short toes.
With a relatively wide foot. So Allen Edmonds, you guys know, has been my go-to shoe. Love them. But there's some really special things that this company does, but they don't offer wide width. So the fitting was always a challenge. I think what I learned from this is their virtual fitting, these guys are good.
Yes.
If you know your size and other popular brands like Allen Edmonds or things like that, I would trust their judgment, and probably worst case scenario, buy 2 pairs.
Okay.
Just if you, and I'll show you how to try on a shoe so that it's returnable.
Yes.
And then plan on returning 1 pair, that's what I would do.
Right. I know the answer to this question already, but I'm going to answer it. You said they're doing something special. They're doing something different. They're doing something unique. Do you want to talk about them, or do you just want to show?
Maybe I'll talk about them while we show them off.
Sounds better.
Okay. Now, I know no matter what I say, not everybody's going to like me, and I've grown to accept that, but I'm going to try to be direct, open, and honest with you guys, okay? I did receive a discount for filming the video and purchasing these, okay? But I was not paid and they did not give it to me. I did purchase these shoes. I did purchase them at a discount. When I purchased them, first of all, I purchased the William, which is a semi-brogue Oxford, and I will insert a clip of it here. The William is a semi-brogue Oxford, and I chose Musem brown. They don't have every shoe in every color. They're a small batch company. I believe Peter said during the other video they had 14 employees. I'm assuming that doesn't include the production staff. Right. So this is I mean, they're kind of like the underdog to me competing in this massive world. You can't compare them to Allen Edmonds, who has every size, in every width from AAA to triple E, and then in all 7 colors. I mean, there's just no way to keep up with that, company that makes 1 million shoes a month.
Right.
But when I purchased them, that was June of 2022. They said they would be delivered in September, and I was like, oh man, I gotta wait. Long story short, they did tell me ahead of time. They had great communication. They said there was a delay. I'm like, okay, I understand this is we still have COVID-related production delays, and they're making these in Spain, and God knows what's going on in Europe. And I know they're getting some of the leathers from Italy. So we're traveling all across Europe, which hasn't been the most stable place recently.
Yep.
There was a delay.
Shortage of shipping containers.
Oh, really? Okay.
A global shortage of shipping containers. Yes.
So then the delay said not September, but October. Then they had another delay, not October, February. I'm like, okay, October to February, this is gonna be it. And then February came and they still weren't ready. They asked me to choose another pair, okay? I'm gonna show you what they did, because it'd be very easy for me to disparage them just based on the delay, right? But first of all, what we're talking about here is purchasing a leather shoe.
Yes.
With a fiddleback waist and hidden channel stitching. This is not a workhorse shoe. No one's going to work shoeless because your Cobbler Union shoes didn't come in. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I guess the second point is I know what it's like to be in small business. I'm in business for myself. And I've had situations multiple times over COVID where the US mail lost, we try not to do paper applications, but the US mail lost applications, and I'm going back to a client. It just happened recently, and it's just like, I know that frustration where it's like, I could just see the frustration. Absolutely. I'm rooting for the underdog in this case, and I'm not giving you this opinion, again, because I got some discounts, but look what they did. First of all, they sent me a belt because of the delay. I think this is because of the February delay, right? Look at this thing, it's stitched. This is actually in the color of Musem brown. So I'm actually going to be exchanging this. It's actually pretty close, I'll show you, but I'm not going to unwrap it because this is going to get exchanged for the Musem Oxblood.
Yes.
So then once February hit, they asked me to choose another shoe from the stock that was available. I will tell you this, the stock changes because after I chose the shoes on March 15th, the Richard, which I'm going to show you, yesterday was the 19th, I believe. By the 19th, there was a shoe available in 12.5 that was not available 4 days earlier. So check their stock often. But basically, I think the main challenge they said in the first video is oversized 12, they don't stock or produce on a regular basis. So if you're 12.5 or 13, you know, your choices are going to be more limited. Even though I'm 11.5 Brannock, I have to size up to get the width I need. Okay, so I just thought that was amazing, but let's turn the camera around and...
Yes,
well,
absolutely.
All right, so let's take a look at these. So like I said, instead of getting the semi-brogue, what I chose was, this is the Richard. And the Richard is on the same last, the city last, that I chose for the William. And size 11.5 UK. The UK size, add one that's US size. So these are 12.5 US. And Musem Oxblood. So let's take a look.
Oh, individual bags.
Yes, nice. Look at that.
Yes.
Individual shoe bag. All right, here we go. Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
So obviously this is a cap toe Oxford.
Yes.
And that is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eyelet. Unlike all the 65 last Allen Edmonds. Not that I'm just going to compare these two in Allen Edmonds only, but Allen Edmonds are Park Avenue, Fifth Avenue are always 6 eyelet. And look at that. And then here's the part. The reason there's a 358 last that fits me slightly better than this, and I'll show you the differences. But the reason I didn't is the 358 last doesn't have this.
Oh my goodness.
This is 180 degrees, so halfway around the shoe. Goodyear welted, with a narrowed and fiddleback waist. This is something I've been dreaming of having for years now.
Wow.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Yes.
And then here, if you see, like Allen Edmonds shoes come with a particle board, like a leather board heel. I think this is actually several.
Stacked.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like 5, and then the top lift looks like 5 layers of leather to make that, to build that heel base. So the features, and by the way, this is, like it says, Musem. The light is fairly decent in here.
So it's interesting when I look through the viewfinder, it sort of looks purple, but when I look at the shoe, it looks brown.
Yes, it honestly to me looks like a dark brown with a hint of burgundy. Is really how the color looks in real life. I'd like to get it out in direct sunlight and see. It's not obviously Oxblood or burgundy or like Allen Edmonds Merlot, but oh, look at this.
Yes.
Peter at Cobbler Union said that's inspired by high-end automobiles, that quilting on the inside. That's really nice. And it's interesting, they don't have their logo. Only thing logo-wise, let me see if it's true on these. Yep.
That's on.
Yeah, and I saw that in the other video. Is that, oh, I guess it's a Greco or something with the underline. It says made in Spain.
Yes. Is there a date?
Not that, well, I don't know. That could be a code in there, the 1003-6. You know, that's probably some date coding kind of thing. But, so first, I guess I'll talk about some of the features and things like that, right?
Yes.
So we see obviously cap toe Oxford. I love Oxfords. Oxfords are my favorite. And I am going to compare this. I don't think I can do this without comparing this to an Allen Edmonds. Now here's a couple things I wanted to point out. This is a size 12 Tripoli Allen Edmonds, and this is actually an Allen Edmonds made in the 80s. This exact pair was made in 1987. And here's a pair of strands that were made recently. One of the things that I've noticed, the Allen Edmonds made in the 80s have a higher stitch density than the ones made in the 2000s, if you can see that on the welting.
Oh, yes, you can.
And these have that high stitch density. Very high stitch density. Now also, not just on the welting, look at the stitch density on the cap toe. It's pretty spectacular.
Yes.
Higher stitch density. It's similar stitch density on the 1987 shoe, but look how close they get this to the edge of that leather. It's pretty spectacular. And that's double row stitching. I don't know if it's obvious at first. It's tiny.
Oh, yes.
Right? Very nicely done. Very nicely. And same thing around here. By the way, this is the Richard, correct? This is the Richard. The Robert is very similar, but it's a Balmoral, where this line, instead of going down, this line goes all the way to the back of the shoe.
Okay. Where do you think the crease line will appear? Do you think the crease line will appear just by the stitch line?
I hope it is behind the cap toe, because one of the downsides of having a longer cap toe, the Allen Edmonds 65 last shoes tend to have a relatively short cap toe. But I think, and I'm trying to line the heels up, you see it is further back and the toe is a little longer. One of the dangers is you can get creasing ahead of it, which you don't want. But as long as you get the main thing, fitting video, the main thing I learned is the heel to ball length is the most important. Where your toe lands in here is not as important as the fact that the widest part of your foot is in the widest part of the shoe. And then you should get the proper creasing. Here's something else I noticed from looking at this thing. Look at the profile. Do you see this part? It's got an arch and then it comes down. It's scalloped in. You see that?
Yes, I do.
Versus the Allen Edmonds, it's kind of straight and then straight. That part, I believe, in a lasting, if forming, is very different. You see same things like straight, straight, because what you're really getting here is you're trying to get leather to go. Leather is going to want to wrap over things, not suck into things.
Yes.
You know, this isn't vacuum forming like thermomolding plastic. I believe that's more difficult to do. You know, if you pull the laces out, I think it's a little more obvious. That profile shape is gorgeous. And here's probably one of my favorite things, is about the narrowed waist. When you see it from about here, just that, how the sole disappears under.
Yep.
Well, there's nothing wrong with this, but, and then how tight that heel fits.
Yes.
It's stunning, it's gorgeous. I really love the style.
And it looks like it's really, like, following up on what you were saying about sucked in, it looks like it's really, it comes in quite aggressively here.
Yes, yes, under your arch of your foot.
Yes.
It's really amazing.
Up a bit, sorry.
Uh-huh.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. So so there's actually a sort of a divot, a hole. I'm putting my finger in a divot here, as opposed to the lack of a. I mean, it goes in, but there's not that sort of sucked in.
It's reminiscent. It's reminiscent of a woman's body. If you take Kirby Allison does this, uses a pencil or pen. And if this is in camera, and you drop that straight down and see how far back it is in there, versus something like this. You know, I mean, it's there versus, you know, versus there. It's pretty amazing. It's very remarkable.
Yes. In some ways, it's sort of almost a style of a shoe that you'd sort of see in a museum, you know, a sort of a London museum, a fashion museum, or you know, slightly sort of Victorian style shoes.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Now let me compare. This is going to be an odd comparison at first. You wouldn't think. This is a Johnston and Murphy. These are older Johnston and Murphy limited edition, probably made in the 80s or maybe 90s. The reason I'm going to compare it to this is one of my favorite shoes from a last standpoint. You see, it's fairly narrow in the heel. It is 270 Goodyear welted, so the heel fits tight, and it's got a nice shape the way it broadens out, and it's got a nice angular shape on the toe. Generally what you see is the higher end shoes, and the more formal they are, the more pointed the toe is in general. But if it's very angular, like I'm going to cut in a picture here of their Louvre, L-O-U-V-R-E, Louvre, it's not Louvre, Louvre last. Here that you see on the screen from Cobbler Union, I just can't wear at all, no matter what the size is, because it's just too angular. They call it the sweep. It's just too harsh and cuts off my pinky toe. But I like this proportion. I'm going to tell you, again, I'm going to be just direct, open, and honest. So this is a size 12, this is a 12 and a half. I'm going to try to line up the heels. So the ball length should be longer on the Cobbler Union shoe, but the only thing I don't like, there's only two things about this last that I don't love, or this shoe that I don't love. I feel like the toe here, the proportions are very long. I think one reason is the overall shoe length. Now it is a 12 and a half, so it should be longer. But even that's more than a half shoe size longer. Let me compare it to a size 12 Triple E Allen Edmonds, again lining up the heel roughly. You know, I guess it's not really that much longer. But the longer toe cap combined with the longer overall shoe, maybe I'm just used to the short toe cap of the Allen Edmonds, but this if I were making this shoe, I would make that a little shorter. You know, I mean, maybe the 358 last is really what I want,
Yes.
but you don't get that in the 358 last, so it's a compromise, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. I was thinking about what do I want. I really want something unreasonable.
Okay.
What I really want is I want an $800 shoe for $300. That's really what I want.
Yes.
You know, so if I'm really being honest with myself, you know, if I really want what I want, I got to pony up and quit trying to be a cheap, you know what.
Absolutely.
You know.
I'd like to see where the crease line falls.
Yes.
I have concern that the crease line, I suspect it's actually going to fall here. But I do have concern that it could fall a little too close, well, you know,
the toe cap.
to the toe cap, and then start, if you put a mirror polish on this, start cracking the wax.
Right. We'll have to find out. Another thing I really like, if you see the Allen Edmonds here, the Fifth Avenue, the eyelets are evenly spaced. Okay, they get a little wider because they're V, but you know what? You see what I'm saying? The eyelets are evenly spaced. Strand, eyelets evenly spaced. Here, do you see it gets wider? It's almost counterintuitive, wider to narrower. Another hallmark of a high-end shoe. I mean, I showed, I did peek at these yesterday.
Okay.
Showed it to my sister-in-law, who kind of appreciates some of this stuff.
Yes.
Even though she doesn't know Allen Edmonds or Cobbler Union or Gucci, well, she would know who Gucci is, but you know, she doesn't know these brands. Edward Green would mean nothing to her. When I compared these two shoes, she said, yes, this one is clearly a level above this one. Like that was her, she goes, yes, I can see this is clearly another step above. And I'll be blunt and honest with you, man, this, like, wow.
Yes.
You know, I'm gonna be finding excuses to like sit down with my feet in the air wearing.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
yes,
Like
on the
that
table.
is and those brass
Recreating-
toe tacks at the back.
Yes. Oh, look at that. That is absolutely superb.
They really need a mirror polish though. I really do need to mirror polish these. Look at how it's I believe this is called beveled and fiddleback, right?
Yeah.
I would think that's called narrowed. I thought beveled was where they round this edge, but the website does say beveled.
Okay.
But I think this is officially known as a fiddleback waist. And narrowed because it's less wide, fiddleback waist.
Are you going to personalize the color of the leather at all? You're going to keep it as it is?
I'm going to leave this as it is.
Yes.
Now, the more I'm looking at them here, if you have the other one,
Yes.
you know, let's go to the sunlight. So I brought them here to the back step where it's a cloudy day today, so we have some indirect sunlight. Hey, you guys want to say hi to Romeo? Romeo, say hi to everybody. Right. Okay. So I'm looking at them. If you just said what color are these shoes, I would not say they're museum.
No. But it's quite fascinating when you look at them in real life. They are brown. You know, they're sort of a dark, sort of brown oxblood. When I see them through the lens of the camera, it almost looks purple. There's a sort of purple hue. It's quite interesting. It's quite fascinating.
Yeah, it is a pretty color.
Yeah.
I prefer closer to a Merlot. Less brown, more red is preferable to me. These are beautiful though. But like I said, part of what I've noticed in being in business and stuff like that is it's not about what you deliver. Many times where a client is happy or not.
Yeah.
It's about what they expect. So if you're expecting something like, I'll cut in a picture of how they look on the website. You can see a little bit of marbling on the website picture here. Not a lot. This is less than the picture, but you know there's going to be variation. But I wouldn't say, like I said, I wouldn't look at these and say, oh, that's museum leather. You know, it usually is much more obvious than that. But again, different batches, you know, blah, blah, blah. So.
Yes. I mean, I think if you're in Ohio, in an office, you would be the smartest man in the room.
I think so.
Smartest dressed man in the room.
I agree. That is like so amazing.
Yes.
Right. Any other? What's your comments? What's your thoughts on this stylish shoe? The last.
Excellent. Thank you. So I mean, it's a very attractive shoe. It's a very handsome shoe. I think it looks very European. I think it's sort of. Having gone to the Victoria and Albert Museum, having gone in London, having gone to many of these museums where you see shoes from sort of Victorian times London, 100 years old, that are now in museums, I see elements of that style. I mean, this is where you had, shoe lasts, and you had, cobblers all over the place. So it was a lot less of a dying art. It was a lot less of, it was more common. Mm-hmm. And I think they've almost gone to museums and said, I want to recreate that timeless style, and I want it to not look like a pair of Allen Edmonds. I want it to not look like, because if it looked like that, then people would just go, I'll spend the extra $75, I'll spend the extra $150, and I'll just get a pair of Allen Edmonds.
Or less, not extra.
Or less.
Yeah. If you can get Allen Edmonds, typically my books, Allen Edmonds is a $250 to $350 shoe.
Right.
These shoes are $450, $475.
Oh.
They've gone up. Last year they were $400, $395 or $400. Right. And I have seen sales, but this. They do some sales, but not as big sales as Allen Edmonds. So I think I've seen them $50 off, maybe a little more. So I don't think you're going to get this for less than $350. It's probably more like $400 on sale.
So they're playing in the same ballpark as Loke.
Okay, yeah. Like I said, I don't know if I finished this thought. The only thing I don't like is this part of the shape here. I think this feels a little bit too long to me. If this came out a little more, maybe. I don't know. I think if this toe were just a little bit shorter, I think it'd be perfect. But maybe next is to try them on.
You're right. So if you were to, let me ask you this question, Bob. If you were to put a mirror polish, would you put the mirror polish all the way to the stitch line, or would you just deliberately do the toe and fall short?
That's a good question. I think I need to see how they fit first to answer that question. So maybe we should try that next.
Okay, let's try that next.
Okay, I'm going to relace these, by the way, because the way they're laced, I don't know if you can tell, but this lace is attached here at the front. And then it kind of loops through like a spiral, and I don't like that. I'm going to relace them. I think this is just more for decoration, because you can't really tie it with these coming out in the bottom anyway, so anyway, we don't need to do it on camera, but it'll look very similar, but I'm going to relace them. Okay, so I'll show you how I relaced them, and I don't know what you call it, is that ladder lacing, but the laces, it loops across here, then it goes up, over, skips one, goes up, over, right? So then this one goes over, you get the idea, like that, okay? So now what you get is only one lace crosses one time, and I think it looks a little better, and it's a little easier to lace up too. This may surprise you guys, I don't normally ever use a shoehorn, but for these shoes, I don't think I can get them on without using a shoehorn. Loosen up the first two laces like as much as you can and get that access. I don't have high arches this area, so I get a nice closure even on Allen Edmonds. I love these flat, narrow laces. I just absolutely love them. Wow, look at that. A tight V on an Oxford is not necessary, but it is more aesthetically pleasing and, generally speaking, more desirable. And you know what knot I'm trying to do, right, Hayden?
Oh yes. I can't say is it the Beluti knot?
Yes.
The Beluti knot.
That famous Kirby Allison video. There we go. It's more secure and it's prettier to boot. There we go.
Wow.
Okay, so as far as the fit, okay, how about if you could zoom in a little bit?
Yep.
Now, I'm going to try to keep the weight on my feet. If I ever have a fit problem, it's always on the right foot, always on the right foot. And I'm going to try to push right there. There's room across the vamp. Right there my foot touches, which is fine. This is the ball of the foot, and I'm putting my fingers about on the widest part of my foot. So I think the arch length is correct on these. I think the arch length on these shoes, this is my opinion, not fact, I think the arch length on the City Last runs a little short because the widest part of my foot, this is a 12 and a half.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And all my other Allen Edmonds shoes are 11 and a half.
Right.
So I would keep that in mind, but right there, that's the right side of my pinky toe.
Oh.
I knew that getting these, they said it's a relatively soft leather. I don't know that these are going to be a 10,000 step shoe. My Johnston and Murphy's that I showed you, those black wingtips, are kind of the same way. But I just love them. You know, in other words, they're pretty enough where
Yes.
it's, again, not going to be a 10,000 step shoe. I don't think they're going to hurt. The left shoe, quite frankly, fits, I think, about perfect. You see there, my ball of my foot is snug, but not too tight. I believe I actually like a little extra room. I like my shoes to fit a little looser in the width. And right there, it's not as tight. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but
Right.
the only place I have real contact is on the right.
Okay. And would you mind explaining what a 10,000 step shoe is?
You know, the iPhone tracks how many steps you take. 10,000 step shoe is simply a dress shoe that I can wear on concrete. Take 10,000 steps on the health app, and my feet have zero pain.
Right.
You know, where my feet feel good. My Allen Edmonds Strands, Park Avenues, Fifth Avenues, Shreveports, anything on a 65 last that I have. My McNeils are not. I need a 12 double E on the 97 last McNeil to fit well. So I don't think these are going to be 10,000 step shoe, but now watch the right shoe. Can you zoom in a little bit?
Yep, we are zoomed in.
Watch. So what you don't do, you see, like right now, if you're trying on shoes and you're going to return them, you can walk this way without doing what I'm about to do here. Now, generally, what I'm going to do next makes a shoe unreturnable. You see? You see how it changed?
Yes.
There's no need to do that when you're trying a shoe on. This is still in new condition. This now is not. You see? Just because I did that, there's no reason to do this. You walk, you just pick your feet straight up, straight down. And you see I'm standing on carpet.
Yes.
Okay? That's the second thing you do. Don't stand on hardwood. Or especially concrete. Don't stand on linoleum or ceramic tile. Carpet only.
So what's interesting when you were demonstrating that is, I think, is where the crease line is going to be. If you can interject that.
Yeah. Now hold on. I'm going to do something. I didn't do it on the right foot, obviously, but on the left foot, I'm going to do something that I've seen before. I don't know if it helps. You take like a pencil or pen or something. You lay it kind of where you want the crease to be. Am I on camera?
No, because your arm's in the way. Yep. On camera.
And you help set the crease. I don't know if that actually works. It's the first time I tried doing that. Now this is actually pretty nice. What you get when you have too much room in the vamp is you get a lot of bunching there, and then the leather, when there's too much of it, can fold down into your foot. I think it's got an ideal amount. That's part of what makes a bespoke shoe bespoke.
Yes.
But this is because of, you see how that I showed you that dip? They're able to get that closer. So the vamp, man, the vamp fits really nicely. There's a little bit of extra here. I feel like they could have pulled the last in here a little bit. I feel like this narrowness right through here and the wideness there puts the weight of the shoe a little bit further back.
Okay.
And I'm really nitpicking here now, but I'm just getting, like I said, I'm going to put a mirror shine on these, but I will tell you this. I think these are going to become the favorite shoes in my collection, though. Let me zoom out a little bit, show you with the outfit I have on. All right, so this is my Calvin Klein suit. This is one of my better fitting suits I did a video on, right? And this shirt you'll see in a video as well. What do you think?
I think very dapper.
The Cobbler Union belt.
I think you look very dapper.
Does the shoes make my feet look too long? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Oops.
No.
I cannot wait to get a mirror shine on these things. I think this is where it's at right here, though, with these shoes.
Oh, yes. Let me zoom in for you, and oh my goodness, look at that. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the shot right there.
That is it.
Yeah. They're beautiful. They're gorgeous. I think these are going to become the favorite shoes in my collection. I'm seeing now, even just wearing these
for just this short amount of time. I don't think that toe is going to be a problem. It's there. It does push a little bit, but as the shoes break in, I know these have full leather insoles. They will mold, and generally, Allen Edmonds says it takes 40 hours of wear, which is consistent with my experience, to fully break in a pair of leather-soled cork-filled dress shoes. I think these soles and cork bed are a little thinner than an Allen Edmonds, so that may happen a little sooner. But I think these are going to become the favorite shoes in my collection. Here, this is what you call the Russell Fields shot, if you guys know who Russell is. You guys already know what I'm talking about when I say this is the Russell shot, right? Russell the sartorial chauffeur?
Yes. Fantastic.
That leather, look at the way, if you could zoom in, you
Yes.
see, look how nicely that leather returns. They are very nicely cut. They took their time to choose the leather from which they cut the shoes. They obviously were meticulous in the way they were put together, with as close as that stitching comes to the edge of the pieces of leather. The way they're skived, you'll see on some Allen Edmonds shoes, you'll see a little bit of a bump there, because in other words, what they have to do is the leather here has to be thinned so that you don't get a big bump right there. Sometimes in Allen Edmonds, you'll see a line that runs across there. I mean, these are really on another level as far as the fit and finish.
Yes, they are very dapper, very smart.
The more I'm wearing them, especially here in the indirect sunlight, I do see that rich oxblood color. They're, in life, I would say you can clearly see they're not brown. I mean, they're a shade of brown, but you know, that burgundy color does come through. It's not real obvious. If you're up to me, I'd have them a little less brown, a little more burgundy, make it a little more obvious. Not bad, huh?
Not bad at all.
Let's get a mirror shine on them.
Okay.
Who buys this shoe because they're supportive? Who buys this shoe for comfort? I'm not saying they're uncomfortable, but I'm saying that right there, like, adds an instant, quarter or a half a point to me. You know, in the proportions of the shoe, this shoe looks great. That's why you buy it. That's why you wear it.
Yes.
And I think everything else is secondary. What's your thoughts?
I think if we did the same rating for someone who's a 9 or a 10, maybe a wide width, maybe not. How would that adjust your scoring?
Yeah, then the fit would definitely, if you're standard width foot, you know, I think, you know, that takes away half of the problems that I've had, you know, but absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Which is one of the things I've said, one of the reasons, you know, a lot of us that have wider feet keep coming back to Allen Edmonds.
Yes.
You know, you're wide foot yourself, right?
I am, yes. Yeah, so 9.5 triple E.
Okay, 9.5 triple E. So anyway, my thoughts on this, my overall thoughts are, it's not a perfect company. I think you're going to save time, energy, and effort if you stick to purchasing things that they have in stock at that time. Don't be afraid to wait and, you know, a few weeks to see if something comes back in stock. Get on their website. If something's out of stock, you can put your email address in. They will send you an email, so I would do that. But just understand, if you're wide width or oversized 12, it's going to be more difficult. But I really feel like I want to see this company succeed, just because what you're getting for the value, the service and support, they've been amazing. I want to see this company explode. You might say, Bob, you're biased. Yes, I am. How could I not be? And at least I'm going to admit it to you.
Yes. You had the benefit of going to their brick and mortar store. You introduced that you did in the start. Many people will not be going to, and will be buying this based on photographs and pictures on a website.
Yes.
Would you like to talk to those people?
Yes. Number one, I trust their fitters. They're really good at what they do. And I think most people that are buying these shoes, you're not stepping up from, you know, a Cole Haan, you know, right, department store shoe. You've probably already purchased some other, you know, nicer shoes like Allen Edmonds. So, you know, use that information. So number one, trust their master fitters. Do a virtual fitting with them over Zoom or, you know, whatever web conferencing tool they have. I would also plan on purchasing a couple pairs. Like I said, try them on carpet. Use a shoe horn to put them on. And do not bend, do not break, flex, you know, do not, you know, crease it. And then plan on sending one of the two back. Also understand their lasts. So if you're wider foot like me, a wider forefoot, 312 last is the best fitting, but the 312 is only for casual shoes. Oxfords don't come in the 312 last. It's a very bulbous looking, I'll show a picture of it here. It's a bulbous looking last. I will also put in the description a link to their lasts page on their website. I think there is one Oxford that they make or used to make on the 312 last, but it's a more casual last. The second best is going to be the 358. 358 is similar to the 888, but it's 2 millimeters wider. 2 millimeters doesn't sound like a lot, but 1 millimeter is 40 thousandths, so that's over a 1/16 of an inch. That's like 80 thousandths of an inch. That's significant. So I think number 2, the 358 last is going to fit you best with a wide forefoot. 358 last though has no fiddleback waist. It's a flat waist and it's not narrowed. Third best I think is going to be probably the City last or 888 last. The Louvre last, I can't get my foot into any of them. I have to go up to a size 13 and then my foot is sliding around all over the place. So I just cannot wear the Louvre last. That's what I'd be looking at. Your selection is going to be limited. Not all the shoes are available in all the colors. You know, they have black calf, they have museum blue, they have museum brown, they have museum oxblood you see here, museum cognac, which is a shade darker than Allen Edmonds, walnut. What else do they have? They have cognac grain. Then they also have a couple styles in mustard, which is like the golden harvest color, which is really pretty. I think only right now I saw one. So they do have a variety of colors, but not every shoe is made in every color. So, but I think what they have is definitely special enough. It's all about, are you bringing value to the marketplace?
Absolutely.
I'm in love with these shoes. So
Yes, clearly.
what are your thoughts?
I think they're very dapper shoes. I think they're very attractive. I think that the value for money for what you get is
Absolutely.
exceptional.
Absolutely.
Exceptional.
And the quality, the build quality, you know, is just amazing. That's the other thing I'm looking at with these things. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, so
there's 3 products I plan on using on these shoes. Number 1 is the Pure Polish Cleaner Conditioner. Don't need to clean these shoes, but I'm going to use this for the conditioning aspect. I'm a believer in cleaning, I'm a believer in conditioning new shoes because you don't know how long the leather has been sitting on the shelf. So Pure Polish Conditioner, just light. This leather is obviously in excellent condition. Secondly, I'm going to use Pure Polish, and this is the new flavor that they have I recently got. This is Oregon Pinot cream polish. You can see the color there is a nice deep burgundy color. This is a cream polish. Love Pure Polish products. And then I'm going to use, and look at this, I've got a brand new tin of Pure Polish High Shine. So this is going to be for the mirror shine. So let's get started. First things first, I'm going to apply this with my finger. If you apply it with a cloth, especially a thicker cloth, it'll give you more of the the cleaning properties, but you just do it with your bare finger. And by the way, only thing this has in it is all natural ingredients. That's part of their thing. This has in it orange oil, beeswax, coconut oil, so it's non-toxic, right? These are clean, but let's just get any dust or dirt off of them. I don't want to take the laces out. You know, guys, you can whatever, but I'm not taking the laces out. It's a pain in the butt. This is brand new leather. All right, I'll take the laces out because I do want to condition under the eyelets. These laces are awesome. These are high quality laces. They just have a very nice tight weave on them. I hope they're going to be durable. They're waxed. They have a very nice feel to them, but I'm going to get these laces out. Take a little bit. I generally start with the left shoe. Just going to drive it down into between the welt there. I'm going to use a fairly light application. The lighter colors of leather, you can really see the stuff absorbing in, and there's a temporary darkening from the orange oil. But the lighter leathers, you can actually see how thirsty the leather is. And I think we'll speed things up here. You don't necessarily need to see all of this at regular speed. And you definitely need to let this sit. It says on the directions there. It actually tells you how to use it. And at the end of the directions, you see apply air dry 1 to 2 hours. You definitely do need to let this stuff sit. Maybe not an hour because I just put a light coat, but I'm gonna let those sit for at least 30-45 minutes, maybe an hour if I'm patient. Okay, they've been sitting for, this one's been sitting for just about an hour. I love this part. Look at that, you gotta get under, going underneath the shoe to polish it. Next, the Pure Polish Cream Polish. And again, this is a newer flavor that he's got, Oregon Pinot Cream Polish. And I don't think I've used this yet. No, maybe I did once. Oh, it comes out, it's very soft, very easy to what's the word I'm looking for? Not liquefy, but okay, that was an agonizing 10 minutes, but I helped pass it with 10 minutes of the Mandalorian. All right, so the Pure Polish Cream Polish has had 10 minutes per the instructions to set up. Let it, harden up a little bit. There we go. Not that they were obviously bad before, you know. Gorgeous. Okay, now the part I've been really looking forward to. This would be kind of your counterpart to Saphir Mirror Gloss. By the way, if you look, I've said this many times before, or at least a few, you'd think these are now in the same focal plane. You'd think this tin is much bigger, but it is not. If you look, this one is 60 milliliters. This one is scalloped out, and it's only 75 milliliters. This one is almost double the cost. It's not anywhere near double the volume. Interesting. All right, so here we go. This one takes a little bit. You got to let your finger sit and get that wax melted. I learned this technique from Andy himself, owner of Pure Polish. So kind of go across the toe. And then longitudinally, right? Back and forth. And then go the other way. I think it's easier to pull polish than to push it. Okay, I've got my shining rag here, and I've got the water thingy. Oh, look at that. I don't know if you can really see. You see right in there, there's a little bit of haziness that's not buffing out. So for as much as I globbed on there, that's good, because a lot of the times what happens is when you first put like those 5-6 coats on, it'll be greasy, which means you didn't let it set up enough. So this means it's ready for more polish. See, I just put a little bit on, and let me try and find like there where you can kind of see a little bit where it's not clear. Well, granted, it needs a lot more, but you see how that kind of reactivates and helps clear that up? I don't know if you can tell, but we're already getting a start of a decent mirror shine here. Leathers react differently, you know? Look at that. So now it's time to put another healthy coat on. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm actually working up a sweat here.
mirror shining these things.
Here's another example where I put a bunch of wax on and I polish it and nothing happens. Add a little wax. And you see that? Boom. A little more. It was too dry. You see that? We're getting there. Put some mirror gloss here on the heel counter and here on the heel itself. Here they are all finished up. Hayden had to go before I polished them, but not my best mirror shine, but I want to wear these things. I think they're definitely the most beautiful pair of shoes I own. Can't stop looking at that. Craftsmanship is really, really good on these things. I think my rating system needs to be revamped here to really reflect that craftsmanship as well as aesthetics. I think there needs to be more emphasis on that. Look at the heels. The heel finishing is just beautiful. I'm gonna show them to you on as well.
Okay guys, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna walk outside with them. Now, for the Cobbler Union Richard on the City Last size 12.5, I gave these a 4.5 on aesthetics looks. I didn't go 5 in it just because I thought, like I said, that back area around the outside of the ankle, I thought the last is unnecessarily large, and I'd like to see that toe cap, the toe of the shoe itself a little bit shorter. I think there's just too much extra room there, and I think it'd make it look nicer. But that fiddleback waist is unbelievable. Fit and comfort, I give it a 3.5. And now again, this is a little bit subjective. You may have a different foot that fits it perfectly. So don't take too much weight on fit and comfort because it's going to be dependent upon how well your foot fits that particular last. But to me, it's a 3.5. Not as comfortable as like an Allen Edmonds strand. The insoles are a little bit thinner, I believe. That's the way it feels. I don't think there's quite as much cushioning. I have had probably about 25 hours of wearing these things. You know, they're pretty comfortable, but not quite as comfortable as a 65 last shoe. The left foot, it does impinge a little bit on the top of my foot, but I'm hoping that's going to alleviate with continued break-in. Build quality 5 stars. I can't give them any higher. The shoes are amazing. The stitch density, as I talked about, the stitches per inch, the closest of the stitching to the edge of the leather. The clicking, you know, meaning how well they cut the leather and the leather they chose. Unbelievable. Construction durability, 4.5. I think it's going to be a little more, I don't want to say delicate of a shoe, but it's not going to be quite as much of a workhorse as an Allen Edmonds shoe, but that's not why you buy it. And cost value, this is where this shoe really shines as well. Even though it's not inexpensive, you're getting a higher level shoe. It is in a different ballpark, in my opinion, than your standard Allen Edmonds shoe. So that averages out to an overall score of 4.5. But hey, this is my channel, so I can do this. I gave it a 1/4 point bonus because of that fiddleback waist. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you watching. If you want to see more of my videos, it is now spring of 2023. Since late, about fall of 2022, I've been releasing about a video a week, and I know a lot of them you're missing them, so go back through my videos and check them out. If you haven't subscribed, feel free to do so. God bless you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
One last thing that I didn't cover that Hayden mentioned, he kind of called it. The toe cap has a little bit of cracking just at the back of the cap, again, because the toe cap is so long. And part of that's probably also because of my short toes. I'm not really filling the front of the shoe. So it's a minor irritant, not a big problem.